And now we talk movies. This week in movie, we have Denis Villeneuve's third Dune movie has a update that you won't want to miss. Plus, we have Deadpool and Wolverine might have just spoiled an appearance. We're going to talk about that in the most recent trailer. And then Mortal Kombat 2 test screening has happened really early, but still really interesting. So we're going to get to all of that plus a little bit more this week in movies. Hello nerds! You have found the place for all of the nerdy movie updates worth talking about. More than just comic book movies, though that is a good chunk of what we cover here in the news. We get nerdy about all kinds of movies as well as the art of making movies in general. If you like this kind of news reporting, then go check out the full show over on the main channel called The Week in Nerddom, where we talk about TV and comic books and gaming and rumors and etc., everything in between. You can find the link to that down in the description or at the end of this video. Now, let's hear about all that movie goodness, shall we? Follows and corrections is what starts off the sections, and that is where we're going with this one. Dune 3, presumably Dune Messiah from Denis Villeneuve, now has an official release date. We have December 18th of 2026. Which should be fairly significant to those that have been paying attention because that is also the release date of a potential Disney Star Wars movie. Warner Brothers is just saying, all right, Disney, let's go. Let's have at it. Let's do this. Let's fucking go, to quote a Disney movie that's about to come out. So yeah, December 18th, we are going to get the third installment of Denis Villeneuve's interpretation of the Dune franchise, and I can't wait. It's going to be so good. All right, so that's our only follow-up or correction. Let's talk about trailers this week. We have a couple of noteworthy trailers. The first one being the new Hellboy movie, Hellboy Crooked Man. I saw a lot of hate in the comment, well, maybe not in the comments, but on Twitter, X. I saw a lot of hate thrown at this because people are saying it looks bad or Hellboy isn't red enough. But it's like, I think we're focusing on the wrong things here. This looks like it's potentially going to have a little bit more coherence than the last iteration we got. Definitely not going to be to the same level of the Benicio or the Guillermo del Toro iteration of the story, but still better than the last one, which I guess is kind of all we can really expect out of this one. But on top of that expectation, it looks like there's going to be some legitimate horror elements to this one. So it's going to be a legitimate horror comic book movie, if you will, which we've kind of been waiting for since that New Mutants debacle that happened a couple years back, right? So I'm kind of hoping for some good stuff. And for those that don't recognize him, I didn't recognize him. Jack Casey is playing Hellboy. No nerdy credits to his name really to speak of. So just hopefully he's got the acting chops to do the thing. Otherwise, Ron Perlman's going to have to be 80 years old in that red makeup in order to please the community. But that's what we got for that one. Go check out the trailer. It's really legitimately worth a watch, even just for the conversation piece that it brings. From there, our next one is Deadpool and Wolverine. All right, so Deadpool Wolverine dropped a new trailer. We haven't got the final trailer just yet, which everyone is waiting for the final trailer because the expectation is the final release trailer is going to have the Deadpool core in it. So Lady Deadpool, Kid Pool, Head Pool, Dog Pool, etc., that we know are supposed to be in this movie are all going to be showcased, hopefully, in the final trailer. This is not the final trailer. This is the second trailer. And the big spoiler, quote unquote, here is Sabretooth, apparently. Like, we knew Sabretooth was going to be in this movie. Like, it's not, I mean, it's going to be Tyler Mane again, so that's pretty cool. And he actually has a speaking part as well, so also pretty great. Just like, this wasn't a spoiler. Anyone who's been paying attention knows that Sabretooth is going to be in this. So that's not really, I don't know why everybody keeps labeling this as a spoiler. I did it for the clickbait, and I'm sorry, but it is what it is. The other thing noteworthy about Deadpool right now is previously they were expecting $200 million opening weekend. They have dropped that to something slightly more realistic in that they're now expecting $165 million. I honestly think it's going to be somewhere in the middle. I would not be surprised to see it get up to about $180 million. To see it get over to $200 million or beyond, I think is going to be crazy and insane, and I mean, I hope it does that, but that's not the expectation. I will not be surprised though to see it get pretty damn close to that. So yeah, we'll see though when it happens. I'm no expert in the field. I just, you know, have been watching this kind of stuff for about 20 years. That's what we got there for Deadpool Wolverine. Let's talk about the other one, which actually the movie is now open, so you can go watch it. But I just had to talk about Quiet Place Day One. This new trailer looks bonkers and just does so much in order to get you hyped for this movie. Like, I feel like I really need to go see it now, legitimately. Like, I wanted to go see it before this trailer came out, and with this trailer it's like, I know I need to see this in theaters, because that element is just going to be lost when I watch it at home, because I will be watching this at home because I really like this franchise. But yeah, go watch it, let me know what you think. So that's what we got for trailers this week. Let's move into regular ass news. First up, we have a new comic book franchise movie. It is coming from Boom Studios. Yeah, Boom Studios. The name of the book that is being adapted is A Vicious Circle. Noteworthy here is that Ryan Coogler is being brought in to do it. He's teaming with Mattson Tomlin, who wrote the comic, who also co-wrote the Matt Reeves Batman movies. He also describes the book as John Wick meets Looper, which is crazy. I've never read A Vicious Circle, but Coogler is noteworthy because he does pretty solid work. Like, I'm a bit of a fan, maybe not of everything he's done, but the things that I've seen of his are still pretty damn good. Like, say what you will about Black Panther, it's directed very well. Anyway, yeah, Mattson Tomlin also really love what he did with Batman, so this very well could shape up to be something fantastic. And when was the last time we got a Boom Studios comic book movie? Like, that just doesn't happen very often. And then our other big piece of news has to do with Mortal Kombat, because of course it does. Mortal Kombat 2, the second movie in the new version of the story for movies, has had test screenings. Now, it's not supposed to launch until 2026, so there's still plenty of time to fix the issues with this. But a couple of things that were I'm sorry, 2025, the end of 2025, but still 2025. So it's still plenty of time. Some of the big takeaways from what people are saying that have participated in the test screening, because this is early test screening, early beta footage, so like none of the special effects are in there. I believe they're even without music at this point, so it's just a pretty dry watching experience by comparison to where it's going to be when it's done. But it sounds like a lot of this story kind of excludes the characters that we established in the first movie. Some of this I cannot confirm, but we do have enough to confirm that the rest of it is like rumor mill fodder, but we're not going to get into that this week in the rumor mill just because we're talking about it here. But the things that you can confirm, the things that are almost for certain, save for maybe some extensive reshoots, we have hyper focus on the characters of Johnny Cage and Kitana. So just everyone else takes a backseat to them, and largely backseat is even being nice from what some of these people are saying that were in the test screenings, which isn't exactly a bad thing. Like, it's going to be weird because we did spend a whole movie establishing what the tournament is, who the other characters are, and now we're going to establish more characters because we have Shao Kahn, Molina, Kitana, and Johnny Cage at the very least to establish, and Baraka. We know Baraka is going to be in it at this point as well, though it sounds like Baraka also is going to be playing like third fiddle almost. Yeah, so hyper focus on Johnny Cage. Apparently, Carl Urban, much like most of the community has been saying, Carl Urban's a little old to be playing Johnny Cage, though he is a very talented actor, so I'm sure he does fine. It's just like it takes you out of it because he is significantly older than the rest of the cast. And then we also have some resurrections, which we anticipated from the way they ended the first movie. So they played the first movie safe enough that they can still potentially give us a good story. It sounds like it's not going to be a great story, but as more details come out about this, we will be talking about it a little bit more. I'm still hopeful, but that's just because I'm a bit of a fanboy. I'm not going to even play games about that. Yeah, that's what we got for Mortal Kombat 2. Oh, man. Hopefully they fix a lot of stuff. Anyway, let's move into our suggestions this week. Movie suggestion for the week. Speaking of Hellboy, go watch Guillermo del Toro's first Hellboy movie, because that sets the standard for what the rest of the live-action Hellboy movies must meet. The Golden Army, the second Guillermo del Toro Hellboy movie, exceeded that standard, and then we got the David Harbour Hellboy, which didn't even get halfway to that standard. So that's kind of the where the bar sits, is the first Guillermo del Toro Hellboy movie. It's fantastic. You got some Lovecraftian stuff going on in there. You got some World War II action going on in there. It's something for everybody to enjoy. You've got the voice of Niles Crane for Abe Sapien. It's just a good time all around. That is your suggestion for movies this week. Go watch Hellboy. I honestly don't know where it's streaming right now, but yeah, check it out. That brings us to the end of the video, nerds. Thank you very much for joining me for the news. Once again, there is a full and probably much more up-to-date and recent episode of the news, the full-length version, if you will, called The Week in Nerddom over on the main channel, linked down in the description, and probably link popping up somewhere around my face right about now. So click on that, go check that out as well, or if you prefer your news in more truncated pieces, then by all means just stick around here and go check out some of the other stuff we offer on this channel. Thank you very much for joining me. We will see you in the next one. Before we go, always remember, nerds, that if it is generally nerdy, it's probably here.